So, when you think about it, right? Everything you're experiencing here is just light and sound. Yeah, I did a whole thing on it. You can check it out. Just like how you experience light and sound within a video game, right? Which you assign meaning to. Yeah, it's just code. At the end of the day. Now, think about it, right? If all you're experiencing is light and sound, which reveals itself to be whatever you believe it to be, that's the truth. Because if I'm looking at just colors and I collapse that and see, oh, that's a building, but somebody that doesn't know what that building looks like, it's just a shape, right? Then it means that the assertion or belief that there are X amount of people on Earth or whatever, yeah, it's literally meaningless. It doesn't actually mean anything, and nobody can ever know how many people are truly in this game at any one time. Let's zoom in. Let's look at an Amazonian tribe, yeah, that believes that they're the only ones on Earth, yeah, or some African tribe in the bush that believes that they're the only ones on Earth. Now, they know that there may be others that exist beyond the horizon due to mythos or the application of logic, yeah? Because if you're here, then it's likely that somebody's there. You're right? One of those things. And just by looking at how their reality works. But let's say they don't come across anyone. They don't come across any people. As far as they're concerned, they're the only ones on Earth, right? And they don't really care for the final number or how many actual people are on the Earth. It doesn't actually mean anything to them, right? Because it's not relevant. Now think about it. Let's say somehow they come in contact with some other people from some other place, right? Missionaries, whatever. Now let's say the missionary says, hey, listen, there's 6 billion people on Earth, right? That's simply the narrative and the storyline of the missionary. It's not actually a fact. Let me show you what I mean. Now think about it, right? There is no way that can ever be corroborated in any way, shape or form, yeah? Because it's based on an assumption anyway, from the perspective of the missionary. He's blindly believing some dog crap. Now think about it. Now let's place ourselves in a video game world. Yeah, the backdrop and scene is literally light and sound, right? That we are decoding. Now, my configuration has a story which includes how many people exist on the Earth, right? This number isn't and can't be fixed ever. Even if we say, okay, in my world there's 10, another person says there's 10 million, another person says there's 100 million, and we add it all up, that number is still not accurate because it doesn't mean anything. It's still guesswork, yeah? Okay. Now, let's go to the world of Mortal Kombat for a second. The amount of people Johnny Cage believes exist in the world is only relevant to Johnny Cage's story, yeah? Like, to the world, to the perspective of, I don't know, say, some other character. There's no Hollywood. It means nothing to him. It doesn't exist. It really doesn't. The whole thing is an illusion. But you see, the whole thing is a complete and utter illusion. Now, because, one second, yeah, the amount of people that Johnny Cage believes exist is only relevant to Johnny Cage's story. There's no fixed or definite number of people. There are just players and non-player characters, yeah, which exist in the player, the avatar, and its narrative. Yeah, there's just narratives, just endless stories that exist here, yeah? The same rules apply to the nature of the world, the shape of the world, yeah? Because to some, the world is simply an illusion. To another person, well, let me just qualify that, to a dunce, it's a ball, yeah? To a more astute observer, it's flat and stationary, yeah? To another, it's a dream. Okay, so it's just the same as like and to another person it's just Amazon forest. Yeah, is the length and breadth of the world, right? Now, until a player fully awakens, they are just following a script. Yeah, they are in a script which isn't real, and really no script is really real. Really, your story is not really real, and it doesn't actually, it's just your story, bro. It's just a story. Now think about it, yeah. Just the only thing that's actually real here is the experience of the game, not any story. Like, let me emphasize this. No story is real here. None. Zero. The only story that's really real is the experience of the game. Okay? Now, if you think the game is real, you're an NPC. If you think you're on Earth, NPC. You think your life story means something, NPC. You believe in a God outside of you, NPC. You fear death, NPC. You have enemies, NPC. You're in a gang, NPC. You envy another, NPC. So on and so forth. Because all of these are script followers. They are not really real. They are not here experiencing the game as the game should be experienced. Now, you as a being, right, it's ultra windy, so hopefully I can actually get this out, because the latter part of the, what do you call it, the previous one I had to delete because it was too windy. So I'm gonna try and get this out as quick as I can. That's the final part. I think I got to the part where I was talking about the only thing that matters is experience, because no script is really real. Yeah, so in a video game lobby, you know, it doesn't matter the stories of the characters, right? Their narratives, nothing's actually real. Like, it's not really relevant, it's not really real, it's not really true, it's not really, it doesn't mean anything in the real world, right? So that just leaves the experience of the game, yeah? Because that's the only thing that's actually real. And you remember I told you back along that the only choice you have here is how you experience the game. Who are you choosing to be in that moment? Yeah, every moment of the day. Now, if you think the game is real and is the real world, then you're an NPC, okay? Good luck, you've made it. And if you think that, you know, you're flying through space and actually, let me qualify that. If you actually, no, actually, let me just keep it simple. If you think you're flying through space on a ball, you're an NPC. If you think your life story actually means something, you're an NPC. You believe in a God outside of you, Allah, Buddha, Jesus, all these other fucking people, whatever, then you are also an NPC. If you fear death, you're an NPC. You have enemies, you're an NPC. You're an angry person, you're an NPC. You envy another person, you're an NPC. So on and so forth. The list is extensive. This is not exhaustive by any stretch of the imagination. Now, you remember I told you you are the emergent point of consciousness, right? Because you emerged from a story, yeah? Just as this whole experience of life also emerged from a story, because what is life is a story. The only way you can answer that is by story, bro. There's no kind of concrete way to answer that question, which in itself is a giveaway about the nature of this place. You also need to realize that stories will emerge from you. Yeah, stories emerge from everything here. Yeah, this world, or whatever you want to call it, backdrop, if you like, of light and sound, is essentially made up of light and color, and that's all it is, right? And you collapse it however form you wish, and with that, you gotta realize that as long as you are perceiving it and experiencing it from a perspective, anything, any aspects of this light and any aspect of this sound can take on a trajectory to become a story. Yeah, in the 3D manifestation, it's like a sunset could be a story, a tree could be a story, a flower could be a story, a bird could be a story, a fucking smile could be a story, a wink could be a story, a bump into somebody on the road could be a story. Anything, a word, a whisper, anything here is a story, which tells you that the actual foundational piece of this whole experience is a bingo. Now, don't try and control any part of it, because you can't, yeah? The only thing you can control is how you experience it. You try and control it, it will just slap you in the face, okay? Now, the reason why the world feels how it does, yeah, with the way we see it, with like, you know, social media, news, and even things like popularity, fame, etc, 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 they're all meaningless, you know. Let me give you an example. The reason why some stories feel so important to the NPCs, yeah, the sheep people, the kind of like background people, they're just unawakened, you know, they're not activated, so they're just playing scripts, so they may as well be NPCs, yeah. It's the same. If I was running a script, I would be an NPC. If you are running a script, NPC, yeah. The minute you become aware, it switches over and then you become the controller of your game. You're lucid in the dream. Now, the reason why the stories feel so important to the NPCs, but as a player of the game, it's a nonsense, is the best analogy is think of it like GTA, the GTA game, right? You're playing GTA, you've stolen a car, or you're in a car and you're listening to the radio, and on the radio they're talking about this news article, yeah, oh, President Trump does this, Joe Biden does this, oh, Putin does this. What does it mean to you as the experience of the game? Absolute nothing, because it's meaningless. It's only applicable in the toy make-believe world, yeah. Now, anybody that will get attached to the story within the GTA radio thing, or GTA let's say signpost or news stories or whatever in that world, is not awakened. They are asleep, yeah. They are attached to the illusion, because otherwise, why does it matter? You have immersed yourself in the game. You're not experiencing the game how you're supposed to be experiencing it, yeah. Okay. And that's the reason why they get all these emotional responses, you know, when the true player literally doesn't care. Like, it's actually meaningless, okay? You know, fame is the same, you know. They say, oh, this person's got like a trillion fucking followers, got trillion, blah, 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 fucking views. Bro, all that stuff doesn't mean anything, you know. I'm telling you the real deal. It means nothing, bro. Because at the end of the day, who the fuck is Johnny Cage anyway? Like, who is he? He's an illusion. Doesn't matter. Like, the fame program only runs in that make-believe world. What is that? It doesn't mean anything. It literally doesn't mean anything. Do you understand? So when you think about any news story, any kind of like thing that's sensationalized, you know, oh, now you know, these women in spandex go into space and they come back to Earth and there's no decompression, no fucking you know, medical attention, you know, no helmets, nothing. They go there with makeup and all the rest of it. No, all of that. It's an illusion. It's not real. There's nothing real about it. Yeah. As a player of the game, I see it for what it is. It's an illusion, just to reinforce the illusion of distraction and the illusion of, you know, the space thing and all the rest of it. I see it for what it is. Yeah. But people will get attached to that and think it's real, and when you actually question it, they have an emotional response because they are attached to the story. They are NPCs. That's the whole Agent Smith thing, yeah. They become the agent. They become the thing that's defending the illusion, yeah. So really, being here at this level, yeah, it's actually dope as shit, bro. You know, the numbers, the algorithm, all of that doesn't mean anything to us at this level. It's like we're playing a video game and we've somehow been able to connect with each other, you know, mirror images of ourselves through our avatars. That's dope as fuck, bro. It's like we're finally in communion with your true self, like your actual being. Consciousness itself is communion with itself, yeah. It's so dope through avatars. It's crazy, you know. And it's almost like an in-game communication thing that we're doing with you know, with your twin reflection or your twin. It's mad, you know. You know, another way you can look at it is like you're speaking to people that are awake in a room, you know, full of millions of people that are all asleep, sleepwalkers and sleep talkers, and you've found like, you know, even 10 people that are actually awake, bro. Like, that's it, bro. That is literally it, bro. Because after all, what's more important than awareness? What is? Like, what is? Because everything else is a narrative within the dream. So yeah, that's it.